Good morning. My name is Roger Sy. I'm the chairman of the Newman Freedom Festival. This is an ongoing festival we've been having for well over 50 years now, because in 1957 Newman celebrated their 100th year. Goal was originated back in 2001. We were looking for a name that would give us something to work for, to strive for, something we could keep working with, so we came up with GOAL, which stands for Give Our Area Life, GOAL. We still have our meetings every third Thursday of the month. We meet at the library, which we feel is good also. Get that in as part of the community, keep them an active, viable part. Well, through the years, we've been very active. Some have been small things that are hard to see around town, and others we're very proud of, very evident. A couple of the things right here in the park where we're at today are the lights. When we have this festival, we always needed places to plug in the vendors. Some of them needed to cook things, or some needed light on their own. And the city just wasn't equipped for that. Plus, the old lights we had, you couldn't even replace the covers on the bulbs. They were so old, you couldn't find them. So the Gold Group got behind the project, and we got some assistance from the USDA Rural Development and some other people, and we brought to the city of Newman at no charge a whole new lighting setup, all new poles, lights, and wiring, which has worked very well for the festival and for other things people come to town to do. So once we did that, the people said, wow, you know, we've got such a nice park, we'd like to enjoy it longer, and we've got a lot of kids in town. Maybe we need some new playground equipment, because I think a lot of it went up probably back before I was even a kid here in town. So we did some looking around, and once again got some help from rural development and some private organizations and private business, and put a beautiful playground set in here, which if you come through town on any given night during the spring or summer, it's very busy. We have a basketball goal set up for the older kids. They can play ball. There's a big pavilion that you can have picnics and do things in. But the playground equipment is the mainstay. The kids come out to play on the swings, climb the rock wall, the monkey bars. There's just all kinds of things. And we're very proud of what we've done to the park and helped to bring for the citizens.
My name's James Young.
Lance Landeck.
We started out, actually, a little bit of history of it. We started out 4 years ago. A group of community members came to us and asked, if we'd be interested in trying to get a 5K organized for this festival. So we took that on. I think we had, 60 maybe or something the first year, 5K. And so then we added a biathlon leg to it the second year, which was the bike event part. We were at a little over 100, 150, I think, year 2. Last year, being year 3, we were at 240. This year, we were at 386 entries. Kind of what goes on is a 5K run and a 15-mile bike ride. And we do it through entry-free support, sponsorship support, and then we always donate to a specific cause. The causes that we've had the last 2 years was a little boy from a local family that was fighting leukemia. And so we contributed to that, a lot of expenses, and supported that cause the last 2 years. He's still doing very well, and so we decided to move on. This year, there was another local little girl, 4 years old, I think. Her name is Brooklyn Tharp. She has a form of dwarfism and has to have some major surgery on her legs. And so our fundraising cause this year went to help offset some expenses from that surgery.
Well, actually, we could always probably use a whole lot more committee members to help us out, but you get to a point where if you have too many people, it gets a little confusing at a point. But James and I will probably take about a month or so off, and we'll start working on next year's race already with feedback from today. Start, how can we improve it, start working on sponsorship for next year and getting everything lined up that we need to in advance, like the timer. We need to do that a year in advance. So, like I said, we'll take about a month off here and then start working on the 2013 version of it. James and I have been involved in some races together. We've done some relay stuff, and I think that's maybe what made the festival committee come to us, because they knew our families were active in running and biking. So it's one way that we can kind of stay involved in the sport without actually having to do it ourselves, but it's also just another good way to give back to the community that we both live in and help support not only the community but the festival, and try to bring as many people to the festival as possible to help support it. I try to enjoy the food, but to be honest, after the race is over, we were just sitting down for a little bit, and I didn't know if we'd be able to get back up. It's kind of hard to really truly enjoy the festival as best we can after we've been out here since 4 o'clock this morning. And, that's just race day. It doesn't include everything leading up to it. But I guess if I had to pick something, I'd say the lemon shake-ups.
Yeah, absolutely, the food. It's good to see people. A lot of people come back I've grown up here all my life, and you see some people that come back to town that aren't here all the time, so it's kind of nice to see some folks you don't see every day. One of the things that makes this possible is all the sponsorship support. We do have a website, and we list all the sponsors, and so we really appreciate sponsorship support plus all the volunteer help, because that's really what makes it possible.
Okay, give me your name. My name's Samantha Hutchinson. I work for First Neighbor Bank here in Newman, and we are in charge of the parade, and so I was heading up the parade committee for the bank. A lot of things go into it, but basically it's the participation from the community that really makes the parade work. We start collecting forms about a month to 6 weeks before the parade starts, asking to know who's going to be in the parade, have them pre-register, and then we sit down about a week before and we start putting the lineup together. Leave some spots for those last-minute entries, and then hope all goes well when we get there Saturday morning. Everybody from the bank that works here in Newman has a job to do that day, whether it's the sign-ups at registration, handing out the numbers so we get everybody in line, line the crowd up. My husband and I had done the parade for about 8 to 10 years prior to when I started work at the bank, and then the bank got involved with it and said, hey, we can help out, and so we've got a bigger team now to do it. So it's very, very helpful, and they take any of those last-minute registrations, and then we put it together and send it down the road. And we also sponsor the parade, so by doing that, we have first, second, third place that we sponsor, and I'm not sure, I haven't been able to talk to anybody to find out who got the prizes this year, but they do get a chance to get a prize if they enter the parade. We like to give the organizations and the businesses a chance to promote themselves. We've got a great crowd that comes out for the parade every year, so it's a chance to get in front of hundreds of people and show them what businesses Newman has, what organizations we have, really a chance for people to showcase themselves. All I want to do is just thank everybody, thank the community, and thank all the participants, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have had a parade. And so it's been wonderful. It's been a great year.
My name is Jim Allen. I'm a general contractor in Newman, have been for about 40 years here. Lived in Newman all my life, raised on a farm just southwest of Newman. Good place to raise kids. One of the reasons I stayed around is so that my children could have the same opportunities that I had growing up in a small town. If you move to a smaller rural town, Newman has the same advantages as a lot of them. One of them is going to be less property tax, great values on houses. Probably the favorite thing about the Freedom Festival is seeing a community come together. Everybody comes out. Everybody has a tendency now to stay at home because of the comforts of home and air conditioning, internet, and communication, whether it's television. I dare say that anybody who's watching this, who listens to this, would say that they watch all sorts of television shows that mean absolutely nothing just because they're on. I mean, how many pawn shows or auction shows or gator shows or everything else do you need to watch? The festival gets people away from their television, away from their internet, and away from their iPods to meet people and actually communicate, because for all the communication our society does now, very little bit of it's personal. And that's what probably the biggest thing about it. I'm seeing all these people and talking with them actually face-to-face and one-on-one. I love it.
Well, it seems like today I've been pretty busy. We started early this morning with the 5K run and the biathlon. And so we were out at 4:30 this morning putting up barricades, getting the PA system set up, getting all the drinks and everything ready for the folks. So then while we had a few minutes, I was able to come over and help set up a few of the tents and booths and displays of the vendors that are here. Each year we have some old standbys that's been with us for 20, 30 years, and each year there's a few new ones, so we have to do the break-in process. Then back to do the actual race, after which we moved over into the very heart of town at the four-way stop where we had our parade come through. And I've been announcing the parade for probably about 10 years now, I suppose. Always a pleasure to see all the new people that show up and some old faces that have become very familiar through the years. For the rest of the day, we'll just be here in the park with the vendors, the food vendors and such, eating all the fair food our stomachs can handle for the afternoon. And then tonight we have the little Mr. and Miss Newman contest, our little 5-year-old boys and girls that will serve the community for the next year at different events. And then we have our local musicians, the Steve Allen Jubilee Band. Steve Allen heads it up. He's been part of a miscellaneous 3-man band for years. They've even had a few records. And Gene Trimble, widely known. He serves at the State Fair every year with a clown band, plus he has his own orchestra. So they kind of combine forces and make a great band for us here in town. They'll perform for an hour and a half. Then we'll have the huge drawing. We have about $3,000 worth of prizes donated plus cash. Then we go into the street dance, which happens out here every year. The local restaurant owner, sponsors that, and at the same time we'll have our fireworks display, which we think is one of the finest in Douglas County, especially for a town the size of Newman with just a little over 800 people. I think it really shows our community spirit. We're still a small town, and even though we've lost a lot of our residents over the years that I used to work with and look forward to seeing, we have new people moving into town all the time, and this is our chance to extend an invitation to them, ask them to come to this, give them a chance to come and participate. And like this afternoon, we'll have the inflatables over here for the kids to play on. We get donations, so it's all free. People don't have to come spend a ton of money to have a good time. As far as I'm concerned, that's what it's all about in a small town. Okay, we'd like to thank you all for being with us today, for coming and enjoying our festival here in Newman. It's always a pleasure when we get to show off what we have, our fine community, the people that do all the work. We do this every year on the third weekend of June. It's always over Dad's weekend, Dad's Day weekend. And also my wife likes to throw in, it's always our anniversary. Today happens to be my 38th anniversary, and here I stand doing all this. But that's okay, we've gotten used to it. So we're glad you could join us today. We hope you enjoyed what you saw, and maybe next year you'd like to come to town and be a part of this. We also would like to invite anybody in Newman, if you're interested, once you've viewed this and kind of seen what goes on behind the scenes, maybe you'd like to be a part of it too next year. So thank you all. Hope you enjoy the festival. Hope you enjoy the new website. We're looking forward to being a part of it. Thank you very much.